Welcome, everyone, to Kansas Speedway, Race 6 of the HTL Cup Series campaign. Kansas Speedway in the Great Plains welcomes us for a 166-mile event, 166-lap event, I should say, here tonight. We're glad you're with us here for HTL on ABN. It's time to go racing before Independence Day here in the U.S. World Cup fever, everyone's feeling patriotic. We got a race to do here in the heartland of the U.S. here tonight. We are glad you are with us here tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun to see how things pan out in the event that lies before us here. Your standings, center of your screen. Bren Roberts, top of the board, 294 points to his credit, 31 ahead of Emily Howe here tonight as we enter our sixth race of the competition. 5 races down, 11 to go in the regular season. Time is about to fly super fast in the HTL Cup Series campaign. Caitlin Height third, Pacey Weichen in fourth, a full century mark behind. Sitting in that fourth spot, Zach Meredith, Mo Perry, all in the conversation as well. Patrick Oberstadt, Bobby Blowers, Zach Apperson, Christina Ryan, your top 10 in points going into tonight's event. A lot of excitement, a lot of anticipation, though, as we get closer and closer to this race taking place here in Kansas. Tucker Sawyer, Josh Arnold. Tucker Sawyer, for not being a full-time driver, sure is racing like it. 11th place in points. This is his best run in HTL so far as points go. We'll see how that lasts here going into this sixth race of the campaign. Outside the top 12, it gets a little bit more tight. Eli Sasek, Dustin Hall, Hunter Whitlock, and Blake Henderson inside the top 16. If the playoffs were to have started today, they would have been in. John Matthews, Alfred Denny, James Wright, Bailey Thompson, Stephen Oberstadt would be out by slim margins, as well would be Brady Smith, Martin Roberg, and Mirabella Viscali. Your top 24 looks like that. But again, a lot of races to go, a lot of time to go. John Matthews not racing tonight. Blue Jay in the 98 in his place. So John Matthews will tumble down that order. Consistency going to be hard when you're not racing every race. He's already missed 2. This would be his 3rd race. He can only miss a couple more before becoming ineligible for the playoffs. Philip Snipes, Rudy Valentin, sitting 25th and 26th in the points. Philip Snipes running most of the ovals from here on out. Rudy Valentin running a selection of road courses from here on out. Byron Jones, Elias Flores, your top 28, Josh Susi, Kevin Gibney Jr., Davis Go Jr., the elephants in the room, not racing in the Cup Series anymore. We'll see them tomorrow night in the HTL Challenger Series race. But they are still occupying parts of the top 30 here. Nick Pressey in 30th, trying to get his season up and rolling. Dale Markowski, likewise, trying to get his season rolling. Gary Donaldson, Jason Scott, Marcus Chafin all have work to do here tonight. And then those further down, you look at some of the part-time drivers. Blue Jade, who, as I mentioned, is in the 98 tonight. Richard Odie, Austin Mongold, who's not present. DJ Trout, who is now in the 31. We saw him last week in the 31 in Phoenix. Got Derek Miller in the 18. Casey Ellis, DJ Anderson, Hunter Peach, Olivia Pereira, Mark Parker, Shad Spotsworth, Lily Frazier, your top 48. Everyone having done one race so far. Quiet racetrack at the moment gives us a chance to say thank you to all of our Premier Tier subs on Patreon. Thank you to Traps Logan, Dogman2935, Eli Sasek, Jason Scott, Alfred Denny, Weekend Hobby 22, Philip Snipes, Tyler Head, B-Dogs, Colin McDonough, Blue, KJ Gibney, J-Paw, and Jake Potak. Thank you all for your support here on ABN. We are now into the dog days of summer, July, just a couple days away. And we are glad you are with us here. If you want your name shouted out live on air every week, the QR code at the bottom left, bottom right of your screen can get you started with that. Follow the QR code, get set up, and join the ABN Nation here tonight. We're glad you're with us. Our anniversary month coming up in July 26th, our anniversary day. Got a lot of fun stuff coming up next month, so keep an eye out on all that stuff on Patreon. Got some cars on the racetrack right now as qualifying is underway. Less than 4 minutes to go. Pacey Wygen currently top of the board. This driver, Blake Henderson, finished third here last season. Running the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Budweiser throwback. Henderson wrapping around the outside lane. Trying to find a great lap time to get on the board. Would like to know the top 10 starting position. And he's got it. Second fastest for Henderson. And he's got pace still here in Kansas. Had it last season, was a contender here last season. He's still got the sauce here tonight. Second fastest for the 25. Olivia Pereira starting a lap time now. Fully recovered from an illness that both sidelined her, but also curtailed her runs this month. Dustin Hall tagged the fence on his qualifying run. Two-time winner of this race. Will start near the back of the field. Pereira also up in the fence. This lap might not count either. A lot of drivers struggling. Only 25 with lap time set. Viscali, Hall, Blowers, Peach. Peach in his 100th start tonight. We'll start near the back of the field, but it's a very stacked back of the field with how many cars are there. Martin Roberg, Mo Perry, Bailey Thompson, they've all tagged the fence. Pereira's time apparently allowed there, despite got away with one. 29.551. Pereira, best qualifying effort since the Daytona 500 last season. Top 8 ahead of Brady Smith. So Pereira in the Ascent Racing Joe Show program, they've got some stuff figured out. Tucker Sawyer in 6th. Brady Smith in 9th. Pereira in 8th. Good company to be in. Pacey Wygen, though, fastest with less than 90 seconds left in qualifying. Points leader just now on the racetrack. Here he is, Bryn Roberts. Talked about him being top of the point standings by 31 entering tonight. 2 race wins to his credit this season. He's trying to get top 10. Last season, he finished 15th here. One of his least productive racetracks as far as results go for him across his ABN broadcaster career. Where does this lap put car number 8? Bryn Roberts, 29.427, provisional pole. And it's going to take a lot to take out that time. Bryn Roberts pushes Henderson down to row 2. And pushes Wygen off a provisional pole. 16 seconds left. Bryn Roberts will be the man to lead the field to green here in Kansas. He has been electric to watch so far, and he will stay that way. Absolutely electrifying for Bryn Roberts. Pole position here in Kansas. Warm-up now underway. 5 minutes to get things ready to roll here. And while we do that, we'll walk you through everything you need to know to get ready for this race in Kansas. 166 laps, 400.5 kilometers is the measured distance. Symmetrical racetrack, but it's progressive banking on this racetrack. 17 degrees of banking at the bottom of the racetrack, 20 degrees up near the fence. You saw everyone running up near the wall for qualifying The speeds from the bottom to the top of the racetrack in the corners for the first time this season are all going to be similar. Stages, contrary to what we thought with the race preview, are similar. Lap 50 and lap 100. At Las Vegas was lap 40 for stage 1. Extra 10 laps here in stage number 1 here in Kansas. That turned it from being very safely everyone able to make it through stage 1 without a pit stop to everyone needing a stop to get there. Some upcoming races here on the calendar. We're off next Monday because of the July 4th holiday weekend. We'll be back on Monday. Excuse me. We'll be back on Mondays beginning July 13th with Talladega. Then we head to the Circuit of the Americas. Then the Brickyard, July 27th on our anniversary weekend for ABN. The Team Conti 400 from Nashville begins the month of August, followed by Michigan on August 10th. For those not familiar, the next-gen car in use here, we had 750 horsepower the last 2 weeks in Sonoma and Phoenix. We're back down to the intermediate package, 670 horsepower, 4-inch spoiler, and the rear diffuser that everyone has, I'm sure, very, very cool, very mellowed opinions on 4 years in. And some betting odds from ABN Sportsbook. Always fictional, but always factual. Caitlin Height, currently the favorite here in Kansas. Bryn Roberts, never bet against him. Emily Howe. Josh Arnold, your defending race winner here at positive 1,000 odds there. Blake Henderson, podium finisher last time out as well here in Kansas. Patrick Oberstadt, Zach Apperson, Stephen Oberstadt, Pacey Wise, and Zach Meredith, all top 10 on the betting odds here in the Great Plains. The guy we're going to take an eye on here in this whole affair would be Zach Meredith, the closer on these intermediates. 5 starts this season. He's made every race. 294 passes for position. He is the most of anybody in the HTL Cup Series field. And quality passes, which are passes in the top 10, 106. He is second in that category. And in closing passes, passes in the final 25 laps of a race, 29 this season. Again, most of the field. He is electric start to finish, but when we get to the closing stages, that 2 car almost always is on the charge. Keep an eye out for him again here tonight. This is a racetrack where passing is possible in every lane, in every condition. A lot of people hoping to see eyes on him in a pretty good way. I am surprised with Hunter Whitlock, Martin Roberg being as fast as they have been. Hunter Whitlock, they're fastest in practice. Currently fastest here right now. Time gets ready to expire. And away we get ready to go here for the HTL Kansas 400, which means we have gone through the full pre-race gauntlet. So, without any further delay, let's go ahead and let's jump into the starting grid for the HTL Kansas 400. Your front row, Bren Roberts, Pacey Wygant. It's a very spicy front row, but we love to see it. They'll race hard, they'll race fair, but it's going to be elbows out from the drop of the green flag tonight on that opening row. Wygant looking for his first win this season. Bren Roberts looking for race win number 3 to kick off the season as strong as possible. Blake Henderson was strong here last season. Finished 3rd last season. Starts 3rd here tonight. He's alongside Eli Sasek, who finished 3rd here in Season 6. 2 seasons ago, podium runners are in that second row. Both of them looking strong again. Hunter Whitlock, Steven Oberstadt in row number 3. Hunter Whitlock, a top 5 start for the first time this season. Alongside Oberstadt, who did not race in Phoenix a week ago. Marcus Chafin was there in that number 3 car last week. Tucker Sawyer and Patrick Oberstadt, a pair of drivers that have done well so far this season. Top 12 points for both of them. They're in row number 4. Olivia Pereira and Brady Smith make up your top 10. Pereira's first top 10 start since Daytona 500 last season. Blue Jade, first race on an intermediate. It feels like ever in this series. I may be wrong on that. She may have raced Vegas, but she wasn't as impressive as she is right now. 2nd in the Challenger Series race back on Tuesday. Qualifies 11th here in the Cup Series. Her best qualifying ever so far in the Cup Series campaign. Dale Markowski and Elias Flores, they make up row number 7. Christina Ryan and DJ Trout will make up row number 8. These two battle for race wins in the National Series, the Gen 6 Series. That shared Watkins Glen. Ryan was the best of Trout on that day. We'll see how that pans out tonight. Byron Jones and Derek Miller make up row 9. Miller in the 18 for the first time this season following the ride swap between Viscali and Miller. Miller outqualifies Viscali on the first time since the swap. Starts 18th tonight. Zach Meredith, Nicholas Pressey in row 10. Pressey starting 20th. Meredith, as we said, hard charging. He's got 19 cars to pass if he wants to get to the race win here tonight. Alfred Denny, Marcus Chafin sitting in row number 11 here tonight, just outside your top 20. Looking further down the running order, Josh Arnold, your defending race winner, will have to come from deep in the field along with Emily Howe, row 12, 23rd and 24th for them. Jason Scott, James Wright, row 13 for them, ahead of Tristan Bayer in the number 5 car tonight alongside 2-time winner here in Kansas, Dustin Hall. You'll have to try to work from 28th on the grid. Philip Snipes and Bobby Blowers in row number 15. That's 29th and 30th on the grid. Martin Rober, Caitlin Height, row 16 for them. Hunter Peach, his 100th start tonight. He's alongside the rookie Mo Perry in row 17. Mirabella Viscali and Bailey Thompson near the back of the field. In row 18, Gary Donaldson on his lonesome in 37th position will round out this back end of the field. 37 cars ready to go racing. The pace car will pull in. Stage 1 on lap 50, stage 2 on lap 100, 166 laps. The green flag flies. The HTL Kansas 400 is underway. Roberts leads lap 1. Wygant was under threat for a second for that second spot. Now not the case. Whitlock up to 3rd. Henderson has dropped back. Now battling Tucker Sawyer to just stay top 5. Everyone jockeying for position early. Herrera battling with Steven Oberstadt. Patrick Oberstadt, Steven's younger brother, just behind him in that 88. And then keep an eye, Blue Jade, 2nd place here on Tuesday in the Truck Series, the Challenger Series for HTL, showing that pace was not a fluke. Blue Jade passed the 2-time Cup Series champion Josh Susi to get that 2nd spot late in Kansas back on Tuesday, and is now working inside the top 10 early on here. Doing a great job for the Orlando Outlaws gang, filling in for John Matthews. as Jay tries to work against both Oberstats and Pereira to move closer into that top 10 conversation, into closer to top 5. Brady Smith following not far away. Neither is Dale Markowski, the reigning high-octane Truck Series champion. Zach Meredith talked about him being a hard charger. He is already at 3 spots, working against both Nicholas Pressey, the defending ABN World Champion, and Christina Ryan, the 6-time most popular driver in ABN. And Pressey gets thrown backwards. Now under threat from Emily Howe, who has made her way into the top 20 in the opening laps here in Kansas. Now working against Byron Jones, as Howe slices and dices from top to bottom of the racetrack at will right now. The 15, who did not qualify well. Really, none of the Arrowhead cars qualified well. James Wright was the best qualified of the bunch. Car coming out of pit lane, DJ Trout, a technical issue for the 31. He loses laps quickly here. He'll need a caution to get back in the conversation. He has multiple laps down here in 37th as he gets rolling once again. Roberts now beginning to feel the pressure from Pacey Wygent. Hunter Whitlock not far away in 3rd. Henderson back up to 4th, got back around Sasek to get that position, and now it's the teammates battling for 5th. Sasek and Sawyer. And trouble. Caution is out early. It's Perry. And that looks like it is day done early for the Indiana native. The Hoosier finding the fence pretty easily. Trout will get one of his 3 laps back. It does appear from this perspective. And we'll find out what happened to Perry, who has had a great season so far, but it has come unraveled, unfortunately, before we even get to lap 10 here in the Great Plains. So let's take a look at what happened here. Hunter Peach battling with Roberg, battling with Peach. Makes a little bit of contact as they try to enter turn 1. And Moperi grabs traction again after that. Slides, 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 and it's going to hook right to the outside fence right there. And Jason Scott gets very lucky not to get involved in that in a serious way. Derek Miller gets out of the way there. And you see DJ Trout, who will get one of his laps back, one of his 3 laps back there. But trouble for Mo Perry early on here in Kansas. Trying to make a pass happen, and unfortunately, his day looks like it could be effectively over before it even starts. Not a lot of takers on pit lane. 13 stayed out. A lot of cars came in fuel only to get past lap 50. They did not take tires for the most part. The first driver with tires after this lap 8 pit stop, Brady Smith. Smith, Jones, Blowers, Chafin, Bayer, Hall, Donaldson, all took tires there. About 7 took tires in this field. DJ Trout got a lap back. He is now 2 laps down. Moperi on pit lane will likely fall behind him pretty easily here as he works to try to get that 97 car repaired. Would like to see more attrition without being part of it, would be Moperi. It is possible. The average amount of caution since HTL's return to Kansas has been 7. This is our first of the night. Roberts, Whitlock, Henderson, and then the Oberstat brothers, your top 5. As we get ready for this first restart of the night. We are glad you're with us here on ABN for the HTL Cup Series, race 6 of 24. The points leader out in front, Hunter Whitlock, looking for his best season to date in the HTL Cup Series campaign. Currently, he's trending in the right direction. He's top 16 of points. And the number 19 for the first time tonight. Henderson in that conversation as well. The green flag flies. Away we go once again here in Kansas. The inside lane gets the good launch. And Henderson up to second immediately ahead of Patrick Oberstadt, who moves to third. Whitlock asleep at the wheel on that restart, drops to fourth. Del Markowski in the conversation now in the top five, as everyone scatters out of turn two behind them. Roberts, Henderson, out of turn four. This time last season, Henderson felt this was one that slipped out of his fingertips. Felt like he had to pace for it, just wasn't in range, didn't qualify well last season to the 25. They found that pace in the race, and they refined it getting into this season. They've not had the results really to show for it. Trouble car behind, and I believe that was Martin Roberg. It was, the 60. And everyone saved it. Really good job there. Not only for Roberg not shooting back up the racetrack in a dangerous way, but for everyone else being heads up and alert in that conversation out of turn two. But for Henderson, he felt like it was one that got away. He was the hardest charger back in Kansas last season on that day to get up to that third spot. Spoke to him earlier. He said his objective, stay in this position, stay top five, stay in that conversation. Because if a caution comes out late, they've got a car good enough on the short run to be a problem. The issue is that right now, he's the only one in the top five from his team. Yeah, Zach Apperson sitting right now in 8th. Billy Thompson, Christina Ryan, 11th and 12th. But he's the only one. He's going to see a Team Conti cars. Beagle Denny Racing and Tombstone Motorsports both using Team Conti. It's a 1-2-3 for them right now. The 83 Flying Machines behind the 19 of Hunter Whitlock sitting in 4th. So they've got some setup stuff going on right now. Three wide further back. That is Bailey Thompson trying to make her way through the middle of Wygant and the 90 of Tucker Sawyer. Couldn't get around Wygant. Still working on Sawyer. Thompson, her 101st start. Her 100th start ended on lap 5 in Phoenix last week. And so Thompson will try to make up for lost ground here in Kansas, but so far no dice. It was a 3-on-1 handicap there against the Ascent, and the Ascent car is one out there. Eli Sasek got ahead, and now here comes the 15 Emily Howe. And Emily Howe will blaze her trail on the inside lane, battling the 27. And that is for the 15th position that Thompson tries to hold on. Whitlock and Arnold side by side, the 19 and the 12. Ahead of Steven Oberstadt, who's trying to find a way through. Because right now, the top three have decided that they are going to waltz away from this conversation. Patrick Oberstadt working around Blake Henderson for second. And it's the two main leaders on the racetrack for Beagle Denny Racing, 1 and 2. Bryn Roberts, Patrick Oberstadt. Del Markowski, though, he is in range. He is good at these racetracks. Was good at Las Vegas. Couldn't show it last season. He's also fast here. Couldn't show it here either. A lot of technical issues last season for Markowski. Now in a full campaign, trying to capitalize on that. Caution's out for the second time, and it's for Whitlock. It is for Hunter Whitlock, and he's not alone. That is Jade on the inside lane, it looks like. No, James Wright. James Wright is spun as well. Whitlock now in the 34th position. James Wright in 35th. We'll see what happened. We'll draw our second caution here in stage number 1. And this is what it looks like here. And Whitlock just straddles the seam. You can see the black seam, the rubber inseam from where they sealed the racetrack. And he just gets loose. Zach Meredith gets away with it. So does the 4 of Zach Apperson. So the Zach and Zach show get away with it pretty well in the clear. Seems like he stays off the racetrack there a little bit. No, a little bit of contact further back. That is Byron Jones and James Wright that go for a little bit of a ride. And let's see what happened here. Looks like it's through that situation there, potentially. I got help there from Philip Snipes. So teammate on teammate crime there. It looks like James Wright was fighting a bad race car. Even high above here. 3 wide behind him. We saw Whitlock have his issue. Did James Wright also straddle that seam? Yeah, he began to. Looks like he was getting tight. And then it's try snapping away from him. I think Philip Snipes was trying to give him space. But he was blowing up trying to keep that car on a straight line. You see him already get loose there. A little bit of contact there from Snipes in the 17. 28 of Chafin there. Nowhere for Byron Jones to go. I think Jones is wearing the worst of that, unfortunately. But through the grass they go. No contact with the fence, which I think is the best case scenario in that situation. So back out in front is Bryn Roberts, Patrick Oberstadt, Dale Markowski, Stephen Oberstadt, Tucker Sawyer, your top 5 after 21 laps here in Kansas. 2 cautions in. Still a lot of racing to go here in the Heartland as we get ready to go back racing. Bryn Roberts, Patrick Oberstadt, Dale Markowski, Stephen Oberstadt, all in this conversation. Huge shout out to Henderson Graphics. A lot of paint schemes on the racetrack right now made by Henderson Graphics. NASCAR quality without NASCAR prices. The QR code can help you look a lot better on the racetrack on iRacing this summer. Whether you're running real life in ARCA or running anything from ARCA all the way up to Cup on iRacing. QR code can help you get started here tonight. Teammates occupy the top 4, all on the same game plan. Green flag flies. Second restart is underway here in Kansas as the field roars to life. We go back racing. Roberts, Oberstadt, Markowski, your top 3. Sawyer in 5th. Emily Howe trying to surge forward, up 18 spots so far in this race, looking for the top 5. So is Pacey Wygent. But Emily Howe inside lane has got the preferred place to be. Came down pit lane on lap 8. Took 2 tires on that pit stop and is using them. Wygent, fuel only on his stop on lap 8. So Howe will have a slight advantage, gets in front of the 00 as she pivots to the outside lane through 3 and 4. Wygent tries to close in as they both try to work around Eli Sasick. Howe gets clear for 5th. But away we go. We are underway once again. Teammates 1, 2, 3, and 4. Everyone else trying to break up the monopoly. Ascent Racing's got a lot of cars in this top 10 conversation as well. Got Sasick, Sawyer, Pereira, all in that conversation that are on the inside. Wygent and Pereira battling for that 10th spot. 3 wide. Further back, that is just behind Blake Henderson. Kalen Height in the middle. I believe that is Jason Scott, the 91, in the conversation with Kalen Height and Nicholas Pressey. Everyone fanning out, looking for real estate. A little bit of a tag at the wall there for the 34 Blowers. As everyone rolls through turns 1 and 2. Henderson peeks to the outside lane. Ultimately, the door is shut as they enter turns 3 and 4. Blowers prefers the middle. Henderson prefers the outside lane, so he's going to slide through. Free real estate there on the outside lane. He's going to slide on by. Remember, he took tires there on lap 20, so he's got fresh tires. He is the furthest ahead of those that fit on lap 20, trying to make inroads here to get back into that conversation. He gets checked up big time, though. Here comes Pressey on the outside lane, and Pressey will get checked up behind Pereira. And that is the issue with giving up the track position, is that you have to try to earn it back. It is a debt you're not sure you're ever going to be able to repay. You're past halfway in stage 1, but a lot can happen, a lot can change across the remaining 22 laps of the stage. And right now it is still early enough. You can go from being on the right game plan to the wrong one with just a weirdly timed caution. We spoke about those. We've seen a couple here in Kansas over the last couple seasons. Henderson gets a little tight, a little bit of a wobble. You saw him fight the car through turns 3 and 4, 3 wide, as Josh Arnold tries to find his way through. Arnold also came down pit lane on lap 20 and took those 4 fresh Goodyear tires. So those 3 battling amongst themselves. They're not making a lot of inroad forwards, though. They are still battling for what is practically 13th on the racetrack. And the more that they battle amongst themselves, the better it is for those in the top 10 trying to hold on to their position for stage points as we get to closer to lap 50. 20 to go till that point. And the teammates still occupy 1st through 4th. Emily Howe hounding Team Ralph, Steven Oberstadt. Pops from the outside to the inside lane. 8 laps fresher tires for the 15. Doesn't seem like much, but when you get into later stages of a tire run like this, it starts to become a little bit more prevalent. And that's why the cars that came down that pit lane on lap 20 made that decision. A 20-lap difference is pretty staggering at these intermediates. We've seen it before. We saw it at Las Vegas. Emily Howe using that 8-lap advantage, which again isn't the largest in the world, but used it to pick off the 3 without much issue there. It was a lot easier for her to pick off the 3 than what it was to pick off the 9 of Eli Sasek, or to pick off the 90 of Tucker Sawyer or Pacey Wygant, who had come down and had a similar game plan. There's only 4 cars in this field that have not come down pit lane. They're all teammates for Beagle Denny Racing. Dustin Hall did come down pit lane on lap 8. He is already back in that conversation to try to get back into the top 10. Lap 33 in the books. And Roberts continues to lead. Emily Howe now up to 3rd. Got around Markowski without much issue either. And it's getting more and more difficult for someone like Eli Sasek to keep up. Sasek, Peach, Jade, your next cars that came down pit lane on lap 8. But they did not take tires. Your first driver that did take tires is Dustin Hall, who is now in 10th. One thing in common with Howe, with Hall, is that they were at the back of the field to start this race. They didn't qualify well. So they're having to pick their fights early here to grab position and try to hold on to it. And right now, that's coming up pretty good. Josh Arnold in 12th is the first driver that drivers need to keep an eye out on. He is the first driver that came down pit lane on lap 20 that took tires. And he is trying to find his way around Tucker Sawyer and trying to stay ahead of Brady Smith, the 95 car, I should say. Nick Presley struggling to get around Bailey Thompson. And Thompson's not going to let him quite sail on by here, especially with teammate Blake Henderson in close proximity there. Presley just a little bit too high up the racetrack and gives up time. Thompson now clear. Henderson, who came to blows with the two of Meredith back in Sonoma, has now worked with him to get around the 20. And Blowers will try to follow through as well in the 34. Weird times make strange bedfellows, I think is the terminology there. As you see, the 12 of Arnold sweep into the top 10. The defending winner of this race is on the move, up 14 spots from his starting position. He is now sitting in 9th. Sasek in 7th. Struggling. Hunter Peach trying to get around and stay around Steven Oberstadt, as Emily Howe has lost the spot to Markowski. So has Howe burned up that 8-lap advantage on tires? Very big question. Entering this race second in points, only to that of Roberts, who leads the way. And Roberts has led practically every lap of this race so far, 38 of them complete. Everyone on the move. Roberts leads the way. Patrick Oberstadt in second. Dale Markowski third, under a lot of duress from the 15 of Arrowhead Racing. Hunter Peach, the defending champion, is on 100th start tonight, trying to do what Caitlin Height did in Las Vegas on her 100th start, and that is win. Can Peach do what Caitlin Height did a few weeks ago? Find out. He's in a good spot right now, top 5 for the 50, who came to pit lane fuel only on lap 8. So he has found pace, and now he's in the top 5. Arnold has struggled to make any headway since getting into the top 10. Been passed again by Dustin Hall. And now Arnold has stagnated down in the 10th position. Bailey Thompson came to pit lane on lap 20, sitting in 12th. Meredith in 14th. Henderson falling backwards now after having a hot start, has had nowhere to go and has fallen back down to the 16th position. As we watch this 5-car duel at the front of the field, coming to 9 to go in stage 1. Keep an eye on the 9 of Eli Sasek. He is closing back in, as is Oberstadt, Hall, Wygant, and Arnold. Your top 10 are beginning to homogenize all back together again. Different statuses. We'll go with that. Different statuses. We'll double down on it, on tires and where they stand. A lot of drivers on the original set that they qualified and started this race on. Emily Howe, different right side tires. That does not seem to provide much of an advantage. At least not right now. And Emily Howe now under threat from Hunter Peach, who is on the same equipment, E83 flying machines on the 50 and the 15. Hunter Peach just running a little bit faster right now, and he is better on fuel than those ahead of him. Level with that of Howe and Sasek. 7 to go in stage number 1. The issue is, can the top 3, the Beagle Denny Racing cars in front, make it to 50 without a pit stop for fuel? The pit window, we believe, is 45 to 53. We think the 2 cautions in stage 1 helped out. It is, however, hard to say if that's been the case. Hunter Peach, though, swept around Markowski to 3rd place, goes to 50. And he has found some very interesting pace in that car that, for some reason, the 15 of Emily Howe has just not been able to unlock. The E83 Flying Machines cars spread throughout the field, but mostly in the mid-pack right now. You got Peach and Howe in the top 10. Then you look at Caitlin Height 17th, Nicholas Pressey in 21st, Mirabella Viscali 28th, Derek Miller 29th, James Wright 33rd, Philip Snipes 35th, Hunter Whitlock 34th. Whitlock was fast, but he's just not been able to make any headway in traffic. And that's very interesting to think about here. Around for second goes Hunter Peach, and the defending champion has got something going on now. He's got one car in front of him, and that's the race leader, the points leader right now, Bryn Roberts. Bryn Roberts trying to do what Hunter Peach did last season, and that's win the title. Hunter Peach not racing full time. Trying to say he still got it. We'll see if that's the case. Right now, things looking good. Roberts ran the bottom of the racetrack. Peach ran top side. Clean air is king at the front of the field. We know that. Close the gap in to less than 2/10. Roberts struggling in 3 and 4. Hunter Peach is all over him out of turn 4. And is this the pass with the race lead for the first time tonight? Yes, it is. Hunter Peach blazes his way through on lap 48. 3 to go in stage 1, and your reigning champion is looking pretty good right now. Emily Howell's up to 4th. Josh Arnold, those 20-lap pressure tires beginning to pay off. He is now up into the top 5 conversation. Your defending race winner from last season. Around hell for that 4th spot. 2 to go. Dustin Hall into the conversation as well in the number 1 machine in 6th. Sasek 7th, Markowski in 8th, Thompson 9th, Meredith in 10th. And blazing through goes Josh Arnold the 3rd. So those on older tires now hanging on for dear life to get to the end of the stage. Hunter Peach breezing through. Glad the car color is a full shade of yellow because it is sunshine and roses for the number 50 out in front in stage 1. Almost 3/4 of a second. Now the gap that he has built in 3 laps. Cars coming down pit lane. Oberstadt and Jade down pit lane here. Only one retirement in this first stage. That was Mo Perry, who completed only 7 laps in this event. Hunter Peach will come around. The defending champion, his 100th start, wins lap 1 here in Kansas. And now, if you're those that have yet to come down pit lane for tires, when do you come down pit lane? Some coming down pit lane now. Markowski, Miller, they're down pit lane now. Arnold around Roberts, but not in time for those points. Roberts scored 2nd place stage points. Arnold with 3rd. But Josh Arnold can go 20 laps longer than Bryn Roberts, who comes down pit lane this time. He can go about 12 laps longer than Hunter Peach. The gap is a second between Peach and Arnold as we enter stage 2. Remember, no stage breaks this season. First time we said that tonight. But it's sort of reminding everyone watching at home, for those that are used to HTL with stages. Not the case this season. And the races have been a lot better for it. Great move by the officials to eliminate the stage cautions, allow the race to flow a little bit more freely. And so now, everyone that came to pit lane on lap 51 will have to worry about a caution coming out before the pit cycle goes through. And you have to worry about that because you have to go to about lap 73, lap 75. Now, if we go caution free until then, otherwise you might be pinned a lap down. That is the horrifying aspect of now being on a strategy alone, is that it could really bury you at any point right now. Jason Scott with trouble. And he is down pit lane. Looks like he had issues getting to pit lane. But he has made it down and will get to his box for service. No penalty, so he got there safely. Did not violate any rules there. He will lose time, and a lap down he goes. He will join several others. Emily Howell down pit lane for tires and is not alone in that conversation. I believe DJ Trout just behind it is. 31 on DJ Trout down pit lane. Emily Howell came down pit lane on lap 8 for 2 tires and fuel. Now coming down for 4 tires and fuel to reset for this second stage. Everyone has a pit stop to make in this stage, regardless of when you came down pit lane. The question is just when. We saw a couple cars trying to make their charge back forward. That is Derek Miller, who has already come down pit lane. There he is, getting around Josh Arnold. He is trying to get one of his 2 laps. He went 2 laps down on his pit stop, trying to get one of those 2 laps back. And he should be able to do so here pretty quickly. The tire deficit is not insignificant at this point when you look at how far people are on tires. Remember, Peach has yet to come down pit lane for tires. He came down pit lane for fuel only on lap 8. So he can go to about lap 60 before coming down pit lane again. But he's on the same set of tires he started this race on. And Miller will sweep around the outside lane in the 18 for NFG Motorsports. So round he goes. His teammate there. I don't think Hunter Peach is going to make that too awful difficult for him. He's just going to mind his P's and Q's and race forward here. And Miller gets one of those 2 laps back, preciously enough. Despite the advantage that we had going in off of that second restart, Arnold has lost time to Hunter Peach here. It is about 2-3 tenths that Arnold has lost to Peach on this exchange. And here comes Peach down pit lane. So he comes in a couple laps early, but that's a fair window to make it through the end of the stage on. Arnold now leads your defending winner of this race out in front. Billy Thompson in second. Zach Meredith talked about him being a hard charger at the beginning of this race, and there is a reason for that. Right now he is sitting top 5 in points, most passes in the final stage of the race, and most passes for top 15 positions. He is now up to 3rd, Henderson in 4th. And then you have Zach Apperson rounding out your top 5 at the moment, those that came down pit lane on lap 20. Christina Ryan moving forward. Brady Smith trying to come down. He's getting ready to come down pit lane, and Christina Ryan's not going to be happy about that at all. Got checked up massively by the 95. And it's not the first time that Smith and Ryan have had a run-in this season. Some choice words on the radio there for the 80. As Jason Scott tries to get a lap back here. Had issues on pit lane, went multiple laps down. Not a part of the conversation for position. Martin Roberg, however, is. A lot of cars coming down pit lane right now. Came down pit lane on lap 8. So they are now good to the end of stage 2. Those that came down pit lane on lap 20 are now vulnerable to the undercut. They will not be in this position at the end of the stage. You cannot go 75 laps on fuel. You cannot go 80 laps on fuel. Trouble, Martin Roberg had to save his number 60 car. That car almost wiped out in turn 4 in a similar fashion to that of Hunter Whitlock earlier in this race. Saved it, but lost a lot of time to those in the top 6 conversation. Christina Ryan around the 25 of Henderson. So Ryan to the top 5, behind Apperson, behind Meredith, behind Thompson, and behind Josh Arnold by 2.5 seconds. Everyone on different strategies at the moment. Markowski getting passed by Emily Howe. First cars on this alternate strategy that have already come down pit lane. Oberstadt, Howe, Markowski. Sorry, I should probably specify Patrick Oberstadt, Emily Howe, Dale Markowski, Steven Oberstadt. That's your top 4. Caitlin Height also in that conversation now, ahead of Hunter Peach. Thompson in trouble. Trouble backwards to the 27. And caution is going to come out. And that was what everyone was fearing on the split strategy conversation. Bailey Thompson spins. Brings out a third caution tonight on lap 65. Patrick Oberstadt will be the free pass recipient. Everyone else will have to take a wave around to get back on the lead lap here. And what happened to Thompson, who has had, once again, a bad circumstance happen in an HTL Cup Series event? Looks like that might have been a little bit of help from the Ascent cars. Looks like it might have been contact off of the nose of Flores, but we'll double check here. And that's not really what any of the Ascent cars needed, because it pinned all of them a lap down. Jason Scott gets through. Thompson, that's more on Thompson. Drifting up into the 91. Nowhere for Flores to go. That's on Thompson. Older tires. Unable to keep it on the racetrack and keep it out of other cars' doors. And not how you want that to go. And so Thompson goes around. And I am surprised by this. You see the number 1 next to her name. We're going to circle back and go back to it. No, Thompson's out. Thompson is out. Wow. Wow. Thompson having a technical failure while having the advantage of being on the lead lap when the caution came out, will not be able to utilize it, will likely lose more than a lap. A lot of cars taking the wave around. Driver center of your screen is the 12 of Josh Arnold. He will be your race leader here on this third restart of the night. There's a lot of cars that need the wave around here. Would not be surprised if they extend the caution by a lap to let everyone make their way on through and get caught up to the back of the field. That's typically what they've done so far this season. Josh Arnold, Zach Meredith, teammates front of the field here. It'll give us 26 cars on the lead lap here. Pereira, Flores, Trout, Wright, Miller, Scott, Sasick. All a lap down or more. And so Thompson will tumble down the running order here, having only completed 66 laps. And from being on the lead lap to now being out of the conversation entirely is a gut punch back-to-back weeks for the 27. 2 cars out. Bayer in the 5, Perry in the 97. If we don't hear from the 27 of Thompson, that'll be 3 retirements in the opening half of this race. 26 on the lead lap to get us through the end of stage number 2. Green flag flies, away we go. Arnold got the head start on Meredith there. Here comes Henderson, battling both his teammate Apperson and with Meredith, who they have had run-ins both in Sonoma and in Vegas. Apperson didn't fight too awful hard there. Apperson more, I think, worried about his teammate right behind him, the 88, Christina Ryan, running in the top 5 at the moment, ahead of Martin Roberg. Nick Cressy, for the first time, having luck fall his way. He is in the top 10 for what feels like the first time all season. Same with Alfred Denny up in 8th. Byron Jones in the 9th position right now. Patrick Oberstadt in 10th. Hunter Whitlock has recovered nicely from his spin earlier in this race on the first caution of the night. He is now up into 11th place in the 19 car. little bit of damage on the nose of the 19 car will be effective against his run forward. But he's in the conversation, as is the 17 of Philip Snipes. Emily Howe 13th, Caitlin Height 14th. They had to unlap themselves using the free pass. But they are there in the conversation. Josh Arnold, though, leads the way as we finish lap 71. 29 laps to go in stage number 2. And caution is out for the 4th time. And for the 2nd time, it's James Wright who has had an issue, and he has spun and he has crashed. And he's decided that he's just going to come down pit lane and not try to limp it back. Difficult race for the 14th tonight. He's had a pretty good start of the season. 13th last week in Phoenix. Really helped keeping his spirits buoyed, but unfortunately we will not see that tonight from the 14 car. Let's take a look and see what happened. He had a loose race car. We saw that earlier in the race. Did they resolve that loose race car is the question. Straddling that seam again. That rubber seam is a pretty big deal, and it snaps loose on him immediately. Brady Smith gets through without any issue. That bails out everyone that had to take the wave around on that last caution, because now they can come down pit lane and grab tires. And now it's going to be level footing once again for those at the front of the field. First car, a lap down, I believe, might be that of Pereira. I'd have to double check there on that. But James Wright in trouble for the 2nd time today. A loose race car, but also you cannot straddle that rubber seam. You have to treat it almost like a champ car race. That rubber seam on a flat floor car, like the Indy car or like the 7th generation Cup car, that is iRacing's equivalent of seppuku. You will die, and it will be self-inflicted. Your top 5 after 72 laps. Your defending winner of this race, Josh Arnold, trying to go back-to-back seasons with wins here in Kansas, proving himself to be quite the commodity here in the Heartland. His teammate, Zach Meredith, driver spotlight tonight. Most passes in the HTL Cup Series competition through the first 5 races. He is definitely adding to that, up 17 spots already in this event from where he started. And that's just passes for position once. He has made multiple passes for some positions there. Would not be surprised if he has racked up about 25, 30 passes in the first half of this race so far. Halfway point is lap 83. Nick Pressey, his first time in the top 5, I think, this season, at least on merit. Nick Pressey alongside Blake Henderson in 4th. Zach Apperson, top 5, continuing his good form so far to kick off this season. Christina Ryan, 10th in points, 6th on the racetrack in row 3. And then you have Martin Roberg, Alfred Denny, Byron Jones, Patrick Oberstadt rounding out your top 10. It is 27 cars. Pura did get the free pass. Pura on the lead lap in 27th, the 96 car. Flores next car up. Try to get a lap back. Same with DJ Trout, Derek Miller, Gary Donaldson, Eli Sasek, and Jason Scott 2 laps down. The 9, the 91. Thompson's day over. Bayer's day over. Perry's day over. Everyone else still rolling. We're underway. 4th caution, 4th restart here in Kansas. Closer restart there for the teammates. Meredith was trying to get to the inside. Pressey said, no thank you, I'll take 2nd place. I would like some good luck for the first time this season. He's found a little bit of it. Can he capture lightning in a bottle? The number 20 trying to close in. Henderson got swamped out of that top 4 position. Everyone beginning to take the lead out here. 25 to go in stage 2. Cressy mirror driving, letting the 12 drift away. Meredith has the same thing his teammates got. He knows it's good. A little bit of contact between the 20 and the 2. We know Meredith's not averse to contact. Cressy has been a magnet for it this season so far. The immovable object meets the unstoppable force, and right now Meredith has the advantage. Apperson ahead of Henderson. And the Tombstone Brigade hold up the rest of the top 5. Roberg around Ryan. Those two have let bygones be bygones from season 5 in Daytona. So here they are racing elbows out once again here in Kansas. Pacey Wygen in the conversation, Emily Howe in the conversation. There is Patrick Oberstadt as well in 10th. Al goes top side. Roberg goes to the bottom. Ryan goes to the bottom. Henderson went up high. Roberg's going to try to go through for the 5th position. Easier said than done. The teammate's out in front. Meredith's closed right back in on his teammate, doing what Cressy could not do on the outer lane. And Meredith wants a chance at the race lead. Josh Arnold has led so far, as you can see on your screen, 20 laps. He's about to be stopped by his own teammate for that race lead for the first time. Meredith led a lap under caution. He is going to lead a lap under green. Here he goes. And Meredith out in front. That 2-car successful here in Kansas as well. Mark Kissenweather, his rookie campaign back in season 6. A winner here in that number 2 machine. Meredith's driving it now, trying to get it back to victory lane. And everyone duking it out for position. Cloud cover will cool the track down. We talk about handling, and this is why the track temp now below 100 degrees. Wind, not terrible, not the greatest either, 10 miles an hour, and it's a crosswind down the back straightaway. I'm going to argue that's probably the worst feeling in the world, knowing it's a crosswind, meaning you've got a headwind in turns 3 and 4 and a tailwind in turns 1 and 2, or vice versa. I think we got vice versa right now. I think it's actually a tailwind in 3 and 4 and a headwind in 1 and 2. Not a lot of humidity. Wish it was that way in real life. Only 24% humidity. It is actually 85% humidity right now. I will happily exchange this. 78 degrees is the air temp in Kansas in virtual land. Kansas had a heat index of 112 this afternoon. Sometimes art is paradise. This battle for the top 4 is far from paradise. It is either going swimmingly, it's going great, but you're stressed, or it's not going well. If you're Henderson, if you're Apperson, you're likely leaning the other way. Cressy trying to hold on to 3rd. It's not seeming likely right now. He is under attack from every angle. Wygen trying to find a way through. Apperson wants to try to find a way back through. So does Henderson. So does Howe. So does Patrick Oberstadt, Hunter Peach, and Martin Roberg. Hunter Peach, your stage winner from stage 1, now back in the top 10. That number 50 car. We know how good it is in the long run. It took him a little bit to get there, but his biggest obstacle is going to be this traffic. Wygen gets topside, gets clear. Wasted no time getting around the 20 and leaving him in the dust. And Emily Howe will do the same. Howe gets clear, and Howe gets free. And Apperson still can't. Wygen to 3rd, Howe in 4th. Apperson now trying the outside lane. Cressy was on the outside lane, held 3rd for so long. Preferred being on the inside lane, but has lost positions left, right, and center. Coming to 15 to go, Henderson's in the fence. Tagged it just a little bit. Roberg couldn't capitalize, he got loose. They battle again. Peach gets around both Presley and Henderson. Didn't blink for that one. That is Hunter Peach up to 6th in the number 50 for NFG Motorsports. 27 cars on the lead lap. Mirabella Viscali, last car on the lead lap right now at the moment in that machine. But currently circulating. Meredith continues to lead the way. Arnold in 2nd. Howe up to 3rd around Wygent. And now Howe has the height set on the Toyotas from Melissa Racing Club. Toyotas 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6. There are 6 Toyotas in the top 10. 2 Fords, 2 Chevrolets. And look at that mess just behind. That is an actual disaster waiting to happen. Kalen Height working against Patrick Oberstadt. Alfred Denny's in this conversation. Blake Henderson, Bobby Blowers, Byron Jones. Kalen Height looks at 4 wide through 3 and 4. So does Blowers, and they're all going to keep their foot in it. Car gets loose, Roberg. Everyone gets loose at turn 4. Everyone bobbles. And it's still a sketchy situation that they've got to narrow down into turn 1. Height lost a couple spots there from 12th to 14th. Henderson lost the most out behind Roberg. They both dropped to 15th and 16th. Roberg got loose. Everyone scrambled. Blue Jade up to 13th in the 98. Biggest winner in that exchange, Oberstadt and Denny, 9th and 10th. Sorry, 8th and 9th now. As Bob Blowers hits around Byron Jones for 10th, the 2 teammates for Orlando Outlaws. Meredith, Arnold, Howe, Wygent, Peach, Apperson, Pressy, Denny, Oberstadt, Blowers, your top 10. 10 to go in stage number 2 as Meredith leads the way by half a second. Wygent in 4th, Keach in 5th. Battle for that 4th place coming up right now. Apperson has been dispatched out of the top 5 altogether. And no fight, no contest there, it looks like. Wygent, I think, realizes that Hunter Peach just right now on a different level right now. Fastest car on the racetrack is the number 50 of Hunter Peach. That last time around. Emily Howell, though, is in this battle for the race lead, trying to loop around the 2 teammates from Militia Racing Club. Apperson, Denny, Pressy in your top 10 conversation. Blowers in the 10th spot right now. Jones in 11th. Markowski 12th. Henderson back around Caitlin Height for 13th. But so far, that's outside the stage points. And this is beginning to feel like deja vu for the 25. Had pace in that 25 car, just hasn't been able to use it. Hasn't found it. How gets to the bottom of the racetrack there in 3 and 4. Hunter Peach also in the party now. They have all dispatched Pacey Wygent to deal with Zach Apperson for that last spot in the top 5. Pressy in danger of dropping out of the top 10 and losing out on stage points yet again, as the Orlando Outlaws teammates will try to play the team game and vulture around that top 10, and they got it. Pressy to 11th and outside the points after fighting so hard to try to hold on to him. Will drop to nothing with 6 to go at the line. And now you got to think big picture now. You got to focus a couple steps ahead. You got to look at the end of the race. You got to look at the next pit stop. What could be the last pit stop of this race. Can you get to about lap 115? If you can do that, you're golden. If you can't, you got to sweat out the small details. And you got to really sweat it out tonight. I think something coming up in everyone's mind right now. Not everyone can do that. It's going to be close. Apperson and Meredith and Arnold, I should say, came down pit lane lap 66. Emily House should be able to. Realistically, lap 120, I think, is the upper limit for the 15. Hunter Peach, same thing. Pacey Wise is in trouble. Came down pit lane on lap 58. Has not been down pit lane since. Would not be able to get to lap 115. That's a problem for the 00. So Pacey Wise in the 00 right now. He is hoping for a yellow. If he can grab one, that'd be great. He is the only driver right now that is definitively unable to make to lap 115. Of those in the top 10, there's only 3 drivers on the lead lap that can't do it. Tucker Sawyer and Olivia Pereira, teammates there for Ascent, all unable to make it to lap 115 without a pit stop beforehand. They cannot get to 50 to go. And that is a massive concern. And of course, 50 to go also rules out the idea of a overtime restart. That does not give you any wiggle room for that at all. So if you're thinking overtime, which I personally at this point, 4 cautions, and we've had a pretty good green flag run in between, I wouldn't be thinking about it yet. I would not be thinking about it yet. I'd be thinking about just trying to make the 50 to go. And everyone in your top 4 can. The 50 and the 15 are the best off right now. The ball is in their court more than anybody else's. You'd be next looking at Blowers, who's also on 72, Markowski, Hall, Caitlin Height. They all came down pit lane on lap 72. They've got more wiggle room. They can go beyond that. They can go lap 120. They can get those fresher tires at the end of the race. As Hunter Peach on the white flag for stage 2, looks for 3rd place. A little bit of a wiggle from the 15, had to get out of it. And Hunter Peach swoops by the defending champion. Will not win the stage, couldn't get all the way to the front of the field, but will get close, 3rd place. It'll be Zach Meredith and Josh Arnold that dominate stage 2. Meredith wins his first stage of the season and grabs those 10 extra bonus points that are so helpful right now. Arnold gets 9 bonus points from stage 2 as well. That helps him out significantly in the points conversation. Last driver in the points is the 24 of Byron Jones for those stage points in stage 2. And after how quickly his race ended in Phoenix a week ago, he'll take it. Pit stop's not far away. At least for some. You got to get to lap 1. If you can get to lap 116, that's the objective. It's difficult to do, not impossible to do. That's the important sort of distinction there. Meredith, Arnold, Peach, Hal, Wygent, your top 5. Oberstadt behind Apperson, Alfred Denny, Blowers, and Jones, your top 10. As we sit, stage 3 now underway. To get out your points leader, Brendan Roberts, sitting right now in that 14th spot. A lot of work for him to do to climb back forward. Blue Jade struggling a little bit, dropped several spots DJ Trout having an issue down pit lane. We thought we saw someone having an issue out of turn 4, and it is. It's DJ Trout. Not a lot of damage on that car. It looks like he may have just spun, but already a lap down. That does not help this conversation out at all in the 31 car. Meredith out in front, with Peach now in second. Pretty important distinction so far. Josh Arnold third, Emily Howe in fourth is how they sit. And everyone, I think, is right now biding their time. The next part of this saga will be pit stops when they begin. If they can get to lap 115, then they've got a chance. Again, you're looking at the 50, you're looking at the 15. Those are the two that we know at the front of the field can go beyond lap 116, can get into lap 120 range. The question is whether or not they want to go that far. Cars down pit lane, Wygent, we knew couldn't do it. And on a dime, comes down pit lane. Pacey Wygent will need a caution. Otherwise, his race will end a lap down. That is what the forecast is saying right now. He needs a 5th yellow in this race. We've averaged 7. 6 last season. We had 8 in season 6. 6 last season. Right now we're on 4. Keeping it nice and even. The other Ascent cars coming down pit lane, Sawyer and Pereira, both in. Those are the 3 lead lap cars that we knew could not make it to lap 115. That was the evidence we needed right there. They are all down pit lane now, and they are at least 6 laps short on fuel. Josh Arnold keeping Hunter Peach honest. All 3 of the leaders keeping the 15 Emily Howe at bay. Zach Apperson in 5th, Bobby Flowers in 6th. Patrick Oberstadt, Alfred Denny, Dale Markowski, and Byron Jones rounding out your top 10 at the moment. And we'll see how things shake out in this potentially last pit stop of the race. This is money stop territory. A battle here that is Alfred Denny and Bren Roberts and Dustin Hall all in the conversation right now on the fringe of the top 10. Dustin Hall, 2-time winner here in Kansas. He's been a prevalent force around the top 10 all night long. Had to climb forward to get to that point, though. Up 19 spots, qualified 28th in this race. Didn't have a great time in qualifying. Has had a good race, though, up into the top 10 at the moment. Car down pit lane, Oberstadt a little early for the 88. Can they go 54 laps on a tank of fuel? That's outside the window, but not by much. He's the first of his teammates to come down pit lane. Everyone else stretching it out just a little bit longer. Meredith, Peach, Arnold, Howe, Apperson, your top 5 still. We'll keep an eye. Markowski stays out. Dustin Hall stays out. Bren Roberts stays out. Stephen Oberstadt stays out. So Patrick Oberstadt on an island alone there. On that conversation, Eli Sasek also down pit lane. His race goes from bad to worse. He can't make it from there. Apperson under threat from Blowers. And I don't think there's a whole lot Apperson can do right now. The 34 trying to blaze around him and trying to catch up to the top 4 right now. that are just trying to make it to their window. Each is left. Josh Arnold behind, trying to close in now on Meredith here before pit stops take place for the final time for the race leaders. And Meredith comes down pit lane this time. Gets a little loose. Hunter Peach got it close, but gets away with it and gets back to the front of the field. Hunter Peach, that is now his 11th lap led here in Kansas. Josh Arnold led 20 laps of this race. Kaylin Height battling against one of her best friends, Christina Ryan. That is for 11th place right now, the 80 and the 13. Just outside the top 10. Arnold down pit lane this time. Your top 6, all drivers that can go beyond lap 120 with comfort right now. Jones, Denny, Ryan, and Height are next up in that top 10. Caitlin Height also came down pit lane on lap 72, can also join the leaders and coming down pit lane later. Jones, Denny, and Ryan, they are at the end of their rope. They have to come down pit lane soon. Hunter Peach continues to lead and has a pretty significant gap, 2 seconds to Emily Howell right now at the front of the field. Jones, Henderson, they are down pit lane now, and Byron Jones, is that a penalty? It is not a penalty. Did not speed on pit lane. Got away with it. Henderson also down pit lane. A lot safer, a lot cleaner for the 25. Hunter Whitlock down pit lane as well. His race not quite the way it used to be. He's had a couple of tough incidents here that has eliminated his top 5 pace tonight. His teammate for NFG Motorsports, though, front of the field so far, and should not be laughed at this point. Denny and Ryan down pit lane as expected. And that leaves everyone in the top 12 to go beyond lap 20, closer to lap 125 if they so choose. Philip Snipes also needs to think about coming down pit lane. He is the last car to stay out. That pit on lap 66. He's in that 17 car right there. Not been a huge part of the conversation, but he is present, and I believe he's going to stay at another lap. Yes, he is. Hunter Peach, by 2 seconds, has the advantage. And they're thinking big game. They're thinking long on this one. They're thinking get yourself about a 10-lap advantage. Emily Howe and Blowers actually come in. So does Markowski and Roberts. So they made it to lap 20, lap 120, I should say, and said, you know what? I think that's good enough. They don't want to fall too much behind those that came down pit lane on lap 116 because they are good to the finish if things go as they are. You are racing to the finish of this race. So Roberts, Markowski, Chafin, Howe, Blowers, and Snipes all down pit lane together as we get past lap 120 with 46 laps to go. Peach down pit lane this time. Same with Dustin Hall. Gets down to pit speed. Brady Smith stays out. So Brady Smith going long. So will, I think. Nope, Blue Jay came down pit lane as well. So everyone came down pit lane there. Pacey Wygant will cycle back out towards the front of the field, but remember, the 00 is not good to the finish. He has to make another pit stop. He has to make a splash and dash or save 10 laps of fuel. One of those seems a lot more likely than the other right now, but he will inherit the race lead. For what it's worth, he will inherit the race lead by 3 seconds over Zach Meredith and Josh Harmon. Looking at his pace, he's racing for a caution. Meredith and Arnold under a blanket. Oberstadt with them as well. They all came down pit lane at their earliest convenience. Oberstadt came down pit lane earlier than I think was necessary. He came down pit lane on lap 112. I don't know if he's good now. If he is going to be on fumes at the finish. But he took a gamble for position, and so far it's worked out. He's with the race leaders right now. Emily Howe, first of those that just came down pit lane on lap 120. Stays ahead of Apperson. Stays ahead of Markowski. So Emily Howe in fifth with fresher tires. Hunter Peach lost time on pit lane. Spending an additional 4 seconds on pit lane outside the top 10 right now, but not by much. Here he comes. Looks around Blowers, looks around Sawyer, gets around both. Down the front straightaway. And now his target is Bryn Roberts once again, as it was in stage 1. Both of them top 10 now in this final stanza of the race. Pit stops, unless a caution comes out, pit stops are good for 90% of the field. If you're Pacey Wygent or Ascent in total, you're kind of screwed without a yellow. That is sort of just, that's the way you have to paint it. If you're Sawyer, you're not finishing top 15. If you're Pacey Wygent, you're not finishing in the top 10. You're finishing a lap down as things sit right now. You need a yellow. And preferably, you need a yellow about 20 to go because you want the field to come down pit lane with you. You need a caution with about 20 laps to go for the field to come down pit lane. That neutralizes the field and puts everyone together on the same strategy ball. Because everyone will bite. Whether it's 2 tires, whether it's 4, they'll bite for tires, they'll bite for fuel. Just to have a pad of safety. That's what Wygent's racing for right now. And I don't know if he's not going to get it, I don't think, with how this race has been so far tonight. I could be wrong. But Wygent is certainly in trouble, and right now Militia Racing Club is looking to pick up the pieces when he inevitably has to come down pit lane in the last 10 to 15 laps of this race. He will go as long as he can if they don't catch him before that point, I should say, because they're reeling him in at a pretty decent pace. It was over 3 seconds. Now it's 2 1/4. Just as Spiegel Denny Racing has owned Atlanta and Las Vegas, Militia Racing Club right now has owned Kansas Speedway the last 2 seasons. Outside lane, that is Emily Howe. That's the 15 with a full head of speed. Oh my goodness. You want to talk about opening the floodgates? Wow. Yeah, time to wake up. That's wild. Looks like the first car a lap down right now would be Hunter Whitlock in 26. 25 on the lead lap right now, down the Blue Jade. Jerry Donaldson just behind this group, battling in the top 5. He is a couple laps down in 30th place. Sorry, 31st place. Trying to close in on Nick Cressy, who has had an abysmal race. He was on pit lane, speeding on pit lane for car 20. So his good attempt here in Kansas is undone. This is a battle for what could be the race lead if Wygent does indeed come down pit lane, or if they catch him. This is Emily Howe and Zach Meredith. Zach Meredith, former champion from back in season 3. Emily Howe, the rookie that everyone has feared so much this season. Couple podiums, no race wins yet in the HTL Cup Series. And it's a strong conversation as they battle and close in together on the 00. Patrick Oberstadt in 4th, Josh Arnold in 5th. It seems like Militia Racing Club might be slipping late here. We'll see if there's a second win. This is a long run to the finish, over 50 laps to get there. But it is going to be uncomfortable and close. Coming to 34 laps to go. Whitlock is down pit lane, and this could be race over for the 19 as he dropped more spots. It looks like he's going to keep going here, but grabbing some tires and looks like repairing the nose of that car. Figure if you're not going to get back on the lead lap, at least get a good race car to pump in some quick laps and feel happy about something in this race. Sometimes you need a spirit boost, and sometimes that's it. Been in that position quite a few times in my career. And it is a spirit boost. Being able to pump in hot laps and watch your times just be top of the board, it is an amazing feeling. When you've had a bad race, it hits like crack. There's nothing like it. For at least 20 minutes, it'll help wash away a sour taste. And for him, he knows how fast he was. He knows he was a top 5 car, Whitlock was, the 19. And unfortunately, he will have not even a top 30 to show for it. He'll be 32nd. And that's going to be the better part of it. That he will not have a chance. Emily Howe walked away from Zach Meredith and is now on the bumper of Pacey Wygant for the race lead on the racetrack. This is not strategy. This is Emily Howe just taking it. And if you're Wygant, what do? Do you race for the race lead as if you don't have a pit stop to make? Or do you let the 15 go by and try to save in the draft? I think he tried to save in the draft. He's not fighting this too awful hard. I don't think he could. But Emily Howe out in front for the first time here in Kansas. And one of the best times to lead is late in this race. But we've seen this before, and it's fallen apart for the 15 before. But the one thing the 15 car does not have is short run pace. A restart into the end of this race would undo that 15 entirely. We saw it in Vegas. 15 car was fast, didn't have short run pace, couldn't do it. This is a car that has been built up for a long run because we've had such a long run. We have not had a caution since lap 71. We've only had 4 in this race total. Further down in the running order, next closest battle for position would be Alfred Denny and Caitlin Height, as Height tries to climb closer to the top 10. Much like it was in Phoenix. Not really a day to remember, but also not quite a day to forget. Just a serviceable day for the 13 car. Henderson battling Tucker Sawyer. How much his race has fallen apart. How much both of them have fallen apart. They both qualified well, but they have fallen massively. Tucker Sawyer is also a driver who's not good to the finish. He has a pit stop to make in this race still. He must make a splash and dash if we stay green the rest of the way. Henderson is good to the finish, but good to the finish only right now means 18th. And for someone who is already, he entered this race 16th in points. This does not help him. If anything, this hurts him a little bit. Because if I'm not mistaken, he didn't score stage points either. He's missed out on stage points, both stage 1 and stage 2. Markowski watching as Hunter Peach draws closer to Josh Arnold for that 5th spot. Patrick Oberstadt already up into 4th. In the 88 looking at Zach Meredith, the Militia Racing Club. Their grip on this racetrack has slid as Oberstadt scrapes the fence out of turn 4. This is potentially for 2nd place. And I say potentially, a caution around this time frame would undo everything. If you're Emily Howe, you've made it. You have made it. Your worry now is about keeping hold of the race lead on a short run restart. That is your concern. And there she goes. Race lead with 25 to go. Flowers in this conversation with Markowski, with Arnold. Just ahead of Brendan Roberts there, out of turn 2, down the back straightaway. Dustin Hall in the top 10. A needed result for him. Remember, he did not race in Sonoma. Two-time race winner here in Kansas. He has done a pretty good job so far. Didn't qualify well. Qualified 18th, or 28th, I should say. Gained 18 spots from where he started. And he's got some room. He's got some time to work against his teammates to gain more spots and gain more points as we enter the final stage and the final stanza of this race. Markowski works around Blowers, tries to stay ahead of him, and does so down the front straightaway. A little bit more elbows out as we approach the final 20 laps. Markowski trying to find a way around the Toyota of Arnold as Hunter Peach gets up into the top 5. Your defending champion in his 100th start tonight. Looking set for a top 5 finish. Not quite the race win Kalen Hyde achieved back in Vegas, but not a bad effort for a part-time driver this season, gracing us with his presence during his sabbatical. Flowers, a little bit of a latency issue for the 34. Right there on the bumper of the 7. Markowski shuts the door, and Flowers drifts out wide, trying to find real estate to get around the 7 and the 12 to move up into 6th. Battle further back. Kalen Hyde's gotten around Steven Oberstadt. I think Oberstadt trying to surge forward here. I think he is trying to get around the 13 here. Going to give it another go. Kalen Hyde defended the first time around. Christina Ryan in 15th right now, having a quiet race. Her race was over 5 laps in a week ago. She got to actually do a full race tonight. Coming to 20 to go this time by. Her next worry right now is her teammate, Alfred Denny. 15th to 16th is what's on your screen right now. Oberstadt around Kalen Hyde. Kalen Hyde, I don't think has a lot left in those tires. Came down pit lane on lap 121. Took 4 tires. I don't know if the adjustment that she made was the right one, because she is struggling to make that happen. Steven Oberstadt came down pit lane on the same lap and has went from being a couple seconds behind to now being ahead. Arnold's lost out to Blowers. Blowers has gotten ahead of Markowski and Blowers. Hunter Peach has gotten around Meredith. And now trying to chase down Patrick Oberstadt. So your top 3, if Wygen has to come down pit lane, your top 3 will be Hal, Oberstadt, and Peach as things sit here. And again, we can't gloss over the fact that Wygen has to try to do what he can to make it to the end of this race despite having a massive deficit on fuel. That is the conversation around the Ascent cars right now. All of them on the lead lap right now, save for Brady Smith. All of them have to come down pit lane for fuel. Pacey Wygen cannot make it. Tucker Sawyer cannot make it. Olivia Pereira cannot make it. Elias Flores cannot make it. Jason Scott can't make it. Eli Sassick can't make it. None of them can make it on fuel from here. Unless you're Brady Smith, you are an Ascent car in trouble. And that feels defeating because they've had quick race cars tonight. The strategy just was not there. They just pit too soon. They stayed out too long. They tried to gamble that there'd be a 5th caution, and there wasn't. There hasn't been. We're approaching 16 to go here, and Wygen is on the open ocean with no paddles, no sails, and the ship is not far from capsizing. He stays out here, but he knows his time is calling. He knows the ticker is there. Battle for position behind him, though, as it's Peach and Oberstadt battling it out for 3rd place. What could be for the runner-up spot, and if we get a late caution, could be for the race win. And Hunter Peach gets clear and will try now to do what he's done in so many cars in this race so far tonight, and that is walk away. Car in the fence was Wygen. Wygen tagged the fence there ahead of Pressey. You saw the sparks. That was not a light impact, but he stays going. He is doing what he can right now to hang on. Ben Roberts on his teammate Markowski. That is for the 7th position. Your points leader If things hold at this point, and this is Bryn Roberts' ceiling, I don't think it is, Emily Howell takes over the championship lead with how things are running. If he can get around Meredith, if he can get around Meredith and Wygant Pitts, then it's a close fight, and Roberts is the points leader. But he needs 2 more spots gained to hold on to that points lead. Meanwhile, further back, you saw there Josh Arnold and Dustin Hall battling for 9th as Oberstadt and Byron Jones battle for 12th. So everyone beginning the battle, and Wygant's in. Pacey Wygant down pit lane this time. He cannot hold out any longer. With 13 to go, he's in. And his run to try to win and try to podium here in Kansas is over. And now with the 2.5-second gap between Hunter Peach, the defending champion of the series, and Emily Howell, the rookie, labeled by so many at the beginning of the season as the boogeyman. This is the first time that Emily Howell's put together a complete race-winning performance, if it holds. And the asterisk is, it's not over yet. Blowers up to 4th, looking at a potential podium. Patrick Oberstadt got stuck behind the 20 of Pressey, and it's allowed Blowers to have a chance at the podium. I think that was a car in the fence. There's caution. Caution's out. Caution is out. And Jason Scott almost came down a close pit lane. I'm trying to see who that was. That sounded like it might have been Roberg. It was Meredith. It was Meredith. It was Meredith. There he is. He was trying to battle to stay in the top 5 conversation. I don't know if there was contact. You can tell there's damage, at least on the nose of that number 2 machine. He is now a lap down. Nope, still a lead lap. Hit the gun a little early there. Pacey Wygant, to his credit, just got back on the racetrack. Did he manage to get on the lead lap? Did he come out of pit lane before the race leader? I don't know if he did. He did not. He will have the free pass, being the first car that went a lap down, but he will be at the back of the field for this restart. And that's a gut punch. The caution came out after he came down pit lane, and so he will restart this race no better than right now than 23rd. While pit stops take place, let's take a look at what happened here. And this is going to be with Zach Meredith. So take a look here. He gets loose mid-corner. Same thing we saw in turn 4 with James Wright, with Hunter Whitlock and others, happened to Meredith in turn 2. He gets loose. He gets pointed around the other way. And there's just nowhere to go. Wygant down pit lane now. Our 5th yellow of the night. Leaves us less than 10 laps to go. Emily Howell leads the way. Nick Pressey, Gary Donaldson, Eli Sasek, and Tucker Sawyer will all take the wave around and will join the back of the field for this restart to get at least one of those laps back for all of them. That will give us 24 cars on the lead lap as we get ready to see this race go green for the 5th time tonight. Open conversation right now. At the front of the field, no long run pace for the 15. A lot of short run pace for the 12. What about Patrick Oberstadt? What about Blowers? What about Roberts, your points leader? Markowski, Dustin Hall, Zach Apperson, Stephen Oberstadt, Caitlin Height, your top 10. as we get ready to go racing once again for the 5th time tonight here in Kansas. Everyone came down pit lane. Emily Howe, Josh Arnold on 2 tires. Everyone else on 4. The 2 tires worked out a little bit. They weren't the best. They weren't bad. In this situation, I kind of like where they're at with Arnold and Howe on those 2 tires. We'll see what the field thinks. Less than 10 laps to go. Coming to 7 at the line. The green flag flies. We're back underway in the Heartland. Great restart, Emily Howe. But is it a devil's restart? Did she get too good of a launch? We'll see. A little bit of contact further back. But everyone stays rolling in the right direction. That's the important aspect of it. Arnold getting mugged for positions. Left, right, and center by the 3 Beagle Denny Racing cars trying to chase down the 15. 4 fresh tires on the 88, the 8, and the 1. 2 right side tires on the 12 and the 8 and the 15. This is tense. Coming to 6 to go. Howe, Oberstadt, Roberts. Bryn Roberts in 3rd, Dustin Hall in 4th. Can Dustin Hall potentially find a 3rd win in Kansas and his 1st win in over 3 years and 3 months? The podium's in front of him. He's got to run down his teammates first. Coming to 5 to go next time by. Oberstadt wants a race win badly. His teammates got 2. And here we go. Howe tried to throw a fade down into turn 3. We talked about it, the short runs pace, just not in the 15 car. It is in the 88 right now, 5 to go. And you want to talk about a tight fight. It does not get a lot tighter than this right now. Patrick Oberstadt to the front. And Emily Howe, a little bit of contact, a little bit of a bump, a little bit of a shove. Howe gets back through, but now the Armada is there. It was all Toyotas early in this race. It is Chevrolets all over the top 5 right now. And Arnold's there to pick up the pieces if it does turn into chaos. Roberts out in front now. He's been in this position before. Your top 2 in the championship are side by side to the front straightaway. 3 to go this time. And we've already seen the physicality increase. I don't think those 2 tires are going to do enough to win the race tonight. Roberts gets clear. Is the chrome horn used again? Not this time. Howe stays top side. Trying to grab momentum off the top of the racetrack. Wants to have a chance into turn 1. Tags the fence, though. That's not going to help your case. Hall to 3rd. 2 to go, 3 miles. Byron Jones, top 10. As is Caitlin Height, Alfred Denny, and Olivia Pereira looking for her first top 10 since the season opener a season ago. This is the race of the white flag. 1 lap to go at the line, presented by Henderson Graphics. Bryn Roberts looking for race win number 3. Emily Howe using everything she's got to try to go for the race lead on the last lap. They're side by side out of turn 2. A little bit of side draft. See what you can get. Dustin Hall is in the conversation. He is right there in 3rd. If these 2 slip up, he's there. They're drifting up the racetrack. Up the racetrack they go. Here we go to the line. Who's it going to be? Dustin Hall! Dustin Hall! The drought is over! The drought is over! 3 years, 3 months, 6 days. The The drought is over, and for the third time in his HTL career, Dustin Hall conquers Kansas. The drought is over. And this is a popular one. A very popular one. You see the friends there, former teammates, Blake Henderson and Dustin Hall. Zach Apperson congratulating him as well. Your winning moment, presented by Henderson Graphics. Dustin Hall burns it down for the first time in Cup Series competition since March 23rd, 2023. Congratulations from Gary Donaldson there. How good does it feel? He said he wanted it. This is a track that was circled, as well as Phoenix a week ago, as two tracks where Dustin Hall, if vintage Dustin Hall was going to come out, it would be in these tracks. And we've said it so many times on these broadcasts over the last 5-6 years. Once you win one, it is easier to win multiple. He said it so many times. We've had it on air here. This is the toughest HTL has been, and it gets tougher every single time. If you are one of the veterans from the early seasons, from Season 1 and Season 2, the league, compared to what it was then, is not the same. It's not recognizable. Not everyone has been able to adjust. A lot of new faces have come in over the last 5 seasons. A lot of ABN names, a lot of names from elsewhere that have made a name here at HTL. Dustin was here from the start. One of very few still left that are a part of that first season. This is a popular race win. As he does the Polish victory lap, this is a popular race win because it was so long. Not only was it so long ago, it felt like a long time coming. Not just in this series, but in the Challenger Series, where we've seen Dustin be fast. We asked the question so many times, it seemed like a matter of time when. It wasn't an if, it was a when. When would it happen? When would he step back into the spotlight? When would he get back to victory lane? The answer is today, June 29th, 2026. The winless drought for Dustin Hall, one of the most legendary drivers in HTL history, has ended his drought over 3 years and 3 months in the making. His 8th career win in the HTL Cup Series is a well-earned one, and we'll hear from him in just a moment. And he's got enough to burn it down again after a Polish victory lap here at the front of the field. Your top two in the championship led the way to the white flag. They will not see the checkered in victory lane. They will finish second and third, and the points will stay first and second between Bren Roberts and Emily Howe. It got physical, very physical. But it paved the way for Dustin Hall, who saw the shot open, made his move, and very similar to races in the old Gen 6 back in 2013, 2014. The door opens and Dustin Hall will find victory lane. And tell him it doesn't mean anything. Tell him that. Here's your results here in Kansas. We'll talk to our podium finishers in just a moment. Dustin Hall from 28th to 1st. He had to work from through the field, and he did. 27 spots gained ahead of Bren Roberts, who started this race on pole position, didn't lead much of this race, but was there when it mattered most. Finished second ahead of Emily Howe, who also had to come through the field from 24th. Patrick Oberstadt, Josh Arnold, your top 5. Ahead of Stephen Oberstadt, Byron Jones. Caitlin Height recovers to a top 10 after starting this race in 32nd, one of her lowest starting positions in HTL history. Ahead of Christina Ryan, who finished top 10, keeps her points running going. Looked like she was in danger of losing points in the running order. A top 10 actually helps her gain spots in the points as we head into the off week for the holiday weekend into Talladega in 2 weeks. Alfred Denny in top 10. That 21 car, a dark horse to make the playoffs here. He had a good run of form last season. It's looking like that is keeping up right now. 10th place for the 21 car after starting this race 21st. Not bad for him. Brady Smith, Olivia Pereira, bailed out by that late caution, had to come down pit lane. Instead, ends up with a 12th place finish. One of her best results so far in her HTL career, behind just that of her debut a season ago in Daytona. She rounds out the top 12 here in Kansas. Mirabella Viscali, Blake Henderson, 13th and 14th. Not what they were looking for Viscali. Missing out in qualifying turned into a positive, up almost 30 spots in this race. So how things turned out at one point. Instead, she'll take 22 spots gained from where she started for 13th. For Blake Henderson, this feels like deja vu. Feels like something was lost in this race with 14th place. And the issue is that he's not going to really know what was missed, because the same equipment he was using won this race, finished 1-2. Martin Roberg in 15th after starting this race 31st. Pacey Wygant on the front row, also wondering what happened, how things went awry. That time for the 00, it was a strategy call that went wrong. He recovered to 16th after restarting 24th on the final restart. Hunter Peach, Philip Snipes, Blue Jade, and Marcus Chafin round out your top 20, all of them on the lead lap. In fact, your top 24 all on the lead lap here. The rest of your screen, Dale Markowski, Bobby Blowers, Tucker Sawyer, and Zach Apperson, all lead lap cars at the end. Your lap down cars begin with Elias Flores, Derek Miller, Jason Scott, Gary Donaldson, Nick Pressey in 29th, 30th, Eli Sasek, Zach Meredith in 31st. Did not see the finish. Neither did Hunter Whitlock, DJ Trout, James Wright, Bailey Thompson, Tristan Bayer, or Mo Perry. Your first retirement in this race. That being said, it is time for us to talk to our podium finishers in this event. We'll start with third place, Emily Howe, who was contending for a race win late there. We talked about it. We noticed it on the broadcast. Short run pace was not in that 15 car. Got 50 laps in. That 15 car was a rocket ship. But having less than 10 laps to try to make something happen seemed like a difficult process. Walk us through it, Emily.
Yeah, we had really good long run pace. All of our cars did, and people here can't keep their cars under control with 5 to go. So, we got robbed again. Would have been me and Peach 1-2 there pretty easily. Had a pretty good strategy there to pin on that one yellow and then be good on fuel for one stop. And it was really tight on fuel. It would have been like running across the line, but instead they wrecked with like 5 to go for no reason, and it came into a checkered again.
Close margins again, and we talk about this. Obviously, a third podium this season. Being disappointing with third is a good place to be in, because there's a lot of people that would kill for a third place at any point this season. But we saw this before. We saw this in Atlanta. Finished third there behind a big old Denny racing car, as it was tonight. Las Vegas. Obviously, Caitlin Height was the better driver there at the end. Had the short run pace pretty well locked down in Vegas there. Obviously, another podium here tonight, as we've seen in Phoenix. It's the consistency is there. How do you pivot? Can you adjust on the fly like that? It seems like some could and some couldn't tonight. The one car was going to long run pace as well. Had the same pace as you in the long run, but found a way to switch it on late there as well. Is there anything to sort of digest and sort of decipher from how these races have gone so far this season to try to find a way to make those adjustments? You had the late pit stop there. Was there anything to look at?
I think they got lucky because I think everyone behind us took 4 there, so I was kind of in that Denny Hamlin boat where I had to take 2, and it was too tight on 2, and I just couldn't get it to rotate, and then got around me, and then I got back to the lead, then I got around me, and I got back to the lead, and then 3 and 4 bad arrow spot wouldn't stick, and then good win dusted. But again, we wouldn't be in the situations if people would just finish the races.
Obviously, a late caution once again making an effect here after having such a long green flag run, almost 100 laps of green flag racing near the end of the race, except for that caution with 13 to go. Second place in points still. Obviously, a lot of good pace here, a week off, and then Talladega, a place where this team looks to be super strong as they were in Daytona to open up the season, as they were expected to be in Atlanta. Is the optimism of breaking through at Talladega an all-time high? We know you're good on the plate tracks. We've seen you win just about everywhere on the plate tracks. Is Talladega on the map as being a race to where this 15 car could particularly dominate?
Of course, yeah. I mean, I think Talladega is one of our better tracks. With the Gen 6, we're gonna have, assumedly, we'll have some good teammates with Phil and Katie and all our gang. And then work, I'm assuming Christina and her and Bailey, and try to do some good stuff out there, put on a good show. Um, and hopefully find a good score in victory lane. We've had the speed. It's just, I mean, what more can I possibly do? I feel like Denny Hamlin in the last year. I mean, including doing the move in turn 3 at Kansas.
A third place, not a bad thing to be not a bad place to be, not a bad thing to be upset about here. Obviously, knowing what was in that 15 cart here tonight. Before we let you go, obviously we don't get to see you in Winston until July 26th, our anniversary of ABN starting. So we only get to see you here on Mondays. That being said, does anyone to shout and say thank you to? The floor is yours. Congrats on another podium. Again, second place in points, and it's a runaway right now between you and Bryn Roberts at the top of the board.
Yeah, I just want to give a big shout out to everyone who tunes in every week. All of our sponsors, all the people back in the shop and put together good race cars, and thank the field who can keep the car under control.
A difficult race for some.
We get a list for next week of people who have not self-spun this year yet. We put that together.
I'll work on it during the off week. We'll put that together. That being said,
My good noodle list.
we'll work on that. We got a lot of things to work on here on ABN. Emily Howe, third place tonight, once again on the podium here in HTL. Next up on the list is Talladega in 2 weeks' time. Emily, I know you're going to be a favorite there. I know everyone's looking forward to Talladega and the wide open racetrack that's going to be. We hope to see you in victory lane. Hopefully, if not at Talladega, hopefully sometime very soon. But we know that the 15 car is going to bring the show in Alabama. Congratulations.
Yeah, bring the party to Talladega and have fun with air conditioning if you have it, and nothing else.
Yeah, I wish I did. Unfortunately, not quite the case tonight, but Talladega should be fun. Hopefully, we get to see a whole lot of fun take place there. Emily, congratulations and enjoy the off week.
Ooh.
That was third place, Emily Howell. Here tonight, we move right on along to the points leader, who almost got back to the race win for the third time this season. Instead of settle for a second place, Bren Roberts holds on to the points lead, and it's a runaway at the top of the board. Bren, walk us through that race. That was topsy-turvy, not the most straightforward race for the 8 camp tonight.
Yeah, I mean, this track, I don't know what it is really. I mean, you would think it's kind of straightforward in terms of the cookie cutter intermediates, but this track and Charlotte are easily my worst mile and a halves, and I just can't figure them out. I know I led at the start of the race, but that was just due to a great qualifying setup provided by Team Conti and Dustin. I got the pole and got clean air, and that was that. But as you saw when I got back in traffic, I just couldn't really do anything, and I just have to work on it, I guess. Here in Charlotte, I just have to figure out what I'm missing compared to my competitors. But yeah, I got super fortunate with a couple cautions. That caution at the end of the race, especially, put us in position there to try to sneak out another win like last week, and just didn't work out.
Obviously, not a bad season so far. 2 race wins, a lot of podiums here, and nearly at this point getting close to a 50-point advantage here after 6 races going into the Independence Day break. That's got to be a good feeling, especially saying that it's another 1-2 for Beagle Denny Racing this season. The team's got to be on fire. It doesn't seem like it matters where the race is at. That team's always got someone in the mix. How does that do confidence-wise for you, knowing that you've always got someone that you're able to bounce things off of here, whether it's Dustin, whether it's Patrick, whether it's Steven, whether it's Dale? You've always got someone there in the mix, and a lot of cars in the mix here tonight. 4 of you finish in the top 5, or sorry, 4 of you finished in the top 10. Markowski didn't have the greatest finish. Unfortunately, the restart didn't help him a whole bunch, but all 4 of the main cars for the team, top 6 in this race. It wasn't just one car, it was everybody tonight.
It's so much fun having teammates you can bounce stuff off of, and work on strategy and just talk to during the race. I mean, there was a point where we were just talking about the race length with like 20 to go. We were just chatting it up about it. So I mean, it's fun to keep this fun. It's not like we're racing for anything crazy. Obviously, we're going to be professional and race it out like it deserves. But I mean, team chemistry is unbelievably high, and I think you can see that on the track with how we work together. And I'm really bummed out for Dale. Dale was either the fastest or the second fastest out of us all night, and he really deserved to have a great finish, and just didn't work out. And I know Dale will get back on the horse and go back at it in 2 weeks, I believe. I think we're off next week, so.
Yes, Talladega next week. In 2 weeks' time, the next race. We're off next Monday because we're coming back from Independence Day weekend here. So Talladega in 2 weeks' time. We know how good the team can be on the plate tracks. However, it seems like the numbers game isn't quite in the favor of Team Ralph going into that race. How do you compensate for that? Is it just sort of see what friends you can make when you get there? Obviously, your first win on ABN television was Talladega in the ARCS Cup Series back almost 4 years ago. We know you can find success there. Is the formula still the same? Is it still just sort of find the friends where you get them?
Yeah, I mean, you definitely want to work with your teammates, and we'll definitely do that. But I believe if you kind of have a plan, it's going to get destroyed within laps. So you kind of just gotta see what happens and see who you're around and who you can race with. I know there's a lot of great plate racers in the field, and I can trust almost everybody with a push and pushing them. So yeah, I mean, it'll be fun. I'm sure we'll put on a good broadcast. Hopefully we don't just run around the top.
Well, last time when we did testing about 26 cars, and it looked like a riot. So hopefully everything converts as it did in preseason testing. That being said, points leader after 6 races by a comfy margin going into Talladega. If things do go badly, it's not the end of the world. Before we let you go and let you obviously enjoy the weekend that's coming up here, enjoy the holiday, if there's anyone to shout and say thank you to, the floor is yours. A lot of fun seeing you race tonight and having to work for that podium to get back to it.
Yeah, thanks to you for the broadcast. Obviously, first and foremost, it's so much fun to go back and look through and see the highlights of the races. Thanks to Steven for giving me the opportunity, like always. Thanks to Patrick, Dale, Dustin, for being my teammates and having a great time while we're racing. And lastly, I'm just so happy for Dustin that he got that win. It was a long time coming, and he definitely deserves it with all the help that he's given us. He's behind the great effort that we've put forward this year. So I'm super happy for him to get that win, and we'll move on to Talladega and hopefully get another.
Phenomenal job. Bren Roberts missing out on his 3rd race win this season in 6 races, but not by much tonight. He'll look to Talladega and try to grab that 3rd race win. The place that started it all for him here on ABN, his first ever race win on our broadcast screens, came at Talladega almost 4 years ago. Be 4 years ago in August when that took place. So we're not far away from that anniversary. Bren, enjoy the podium. Congratulations. Have a safe Independence Day weekend, and we'll see you in Talladega.
Thank you.
And we move to the man of the hour here tonight who did everything he needed to do to put himself in position. He's been close before, but we looked at the opportunity and we looked at these 2 races, Phoenix and Kansas, the site of his last 2 HTL Cup Series race wins prior to tonight, and said if there was going to be a chance for vintage Dustin Hall, it would be here. We saw it last season. Blake Henderson broke almost a 4-year winless streak. 3 years, 3 months, 6 days in the making for Dustin Hall. We saw the celebration afterwards, a popular race win. Dustin, how does it feel? The monkey is off your back. An 8th race win, your 3rd here in the Heartland.
Carmen, I feel pretty good. That was well overdue. We needed it. I feel great.
You had to earn it tonight. Obviously, we saw the celebration, and no one celebrates that hard unless it really means something. Obviously, the burnouts, the Polish victory lap, the burnouts afterwards, really letting it soak in here. It has been a long time. You obviously 7 race wins in the first 3 seasons, and then the journey is shifted into a different gear from that point on. You left the series for a bit of time, took a break, came back on a part-time basis, now back running full-time, getting back into it. We've had these conversations before, both on and off camera, about how much more difficult, how much more intense this field has been compared to what it was the seasons of old, season 1 and season 2, where there wasn't the 30 car fields all the time, where the average was 20 cars and it was a smaller, tighter knit group. Now it's just cutthroat all the way through. You saw that tonight and you were able to pick your spot and make that happen. What has that journey been like? And obviously, we talk about how important race wins mean. We talked to Blake last season when he broke his winless streak, how important that race was. He's not a fan of Bristol, but he even said that because of how much this field has changed, how much this series has changed, that had to be the biggest one for him in HTL. Where does this rank for you, knowing everything you've been through over the past 3 years and change?
Good question. I would say it's the pinnacle. If I had, taken the white in the lead, I have to be there to be able to capitalize on the events of the last lap. And we were gaining, who knows, maybe 2 or 3 more laps. Maybe it could have just been an outright win. But to take a win that way, entering turn 3, P3, winning the race, that's, I would like to win more outright for that statement win. But I didn't go as long as Blake did on the drought, right?
No, you did not.
Perfect. Statement win. We'll take it.
We've said it so many times before here, and it kind of rings true. Once you find victory lane once, especially breaking a winless drought, it's easier to find it again afterwards. So obviously, we saw the pace the 25 has had. Obviously, we knew how good he was in the Outlast season. Almost won Chicagoland. Almost went 2 in a row on the trot. We've seen the improvement in the pace in your performance, not just in this series, but in the Challenger Series as well. How important is this as far as confidence goes? Obviously, Talladega, that's going to be up in the air. That's a wild card race. But you look beyond that. You look at some of the races coming up there. This is a defining moment for your season potentially. How does that do for your confidence? And obviously, you've got a team around you, 4 cars in the top 6 tonight. It wasn't just a single car effort. How do you capitalize on this? And if not you, how do you share the wealth so that way the other drivers have a chance to find victory lane again, like Patrick, like Steven, like Dale, who was the second fastest car in the team tonight?
Oh yeah. Surrounded by great people, and not just within the BDR, circle. We've got, the guys and gals from Tombstone and Unforgiven, and a couple others that a couple outliers there that fill in. Really, the whole group is clicking. The practice they're putting in, the feedback that they're giving me with setups. This week, I'll be honest, we didn't have to change a thing. We unloaded fast. The race set was a little tighter in the race session, so we did have to make some adjustments to it. Quite a bit by the end of the race, to be honest with you, but it's all things that we can bounce ideas. They can tell me what they're feeling, and I can identify it as, no, I get it. I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm in the car too, and that's what I'm feeling. You just explained it a little better than I could, so being a setup guy, I can take that and give the advice to make those adjustments and do it myself. And a lot of times I would get stuck in a rut, just trying to change how I was driving rather than change how the car was driving. And I would end up falling behind the track on adjustments. And that's a lot of what we've seen in the past since we've gone to open set. You did mention something a little earlier, Carmen, that I want to touch back on. I've won, a lot of races in HTL, but I have not won any race in this HTL. You touched on it. We're not racing against 20 cars anymore, and half the people just showing up and just wanting to have a good time and stay out of the way. And there's 4 or 5 guys, maybe 7 on a good week where who are competing for wins. Strategy aside, this is a totally different world. This is a different league. This is my first win in the modern day HTL. That is a absolute hat off to Blake, to you, to everybody who contributes in this league, to Al, everybody who has had a hand in putting this together. These aren't just easy or go out there and just try an off strategy just to challenge yourself, or start at the back for the heck of it. It's a totally different animal. So yeah, in that sense, it's a very, very big win. It's not the same world it used to be.
That being said, it is a brand new world, a world without a winless streak, without that being a conversation, and without that being a factor for the one camp. Obviously, this team is on rocket ships right now. Third race win for the team, if I'm not mistaken. Here, I'd have to go back and double check here just to make sure that I've got my facts straight there. But a huge result for the team, obviously, as they continue their momentum. Obviously, you're a huge part of that. They credit you as being a huge part of that. Every time we get to talk to them, whether it's Bren, whether it's Patrick, whether it's Steven. That being said, the season does look a lot brighter with a Dustin Hall race win in it. We saw the celebrations and the congratulations from the field after the fact.
Yeah,
with Talladega
that
coming
feels
up,
so good. That feels good.
with Talladega coming up, how does it look for you as far as trying to go, and how do you prepare the team for that, knowing that it's going to be a wide open race to keep things going?
Talladega, it's all cohesion and how you gel with the people you're racing with, those on your team, those in your alliances. And I'm really impressed at how quickly we have pulled together, and we understand moves that each other are making. And I think that as the season goes on, there'll be more and more of that cohesion and co-opetition. These guys don't just move over for me, and I love that, because I'm not going to move over for them either. But we are, if I can run a second groove and give dirty air to somebody side by side with one of my teammates rather than my teammate, yeah, that's what I'm going to do, and that's what they do back. And it's an unspoken thing. We drive as teammates, and that has a lot to do with our success. The celebration was awesome. Everybody it's been a long time since I won one, so I forgot I'm supposed to slow down and let people come rev next to me and bump me and rub doors. And so I had to get reminded. Christina had to remind me to slow the heck down. But the Polish victory lap, that was something I did in season 1, season 3, back when we won. And the cool part about this, I feel like, is we kind of passed that baton over to Susie so he could win all his races and carry that Polish victory lap. But now he's not with us on Monday night, so hopefully I can keep that going for both of us on that.
A fantastic job for the number 1 car tonight. He gets to enjoy Independence Day weekend and have next week off, knowing that he is a race winner once again for the 3rd time here in Kansas. As you mentioned, first time in the modern era of HTL, as everyone's like to call it. A well-earned race win. It seems, as we mentioned, a long time coming, a matter of when, not if, and it has finally arrived. Dustin, congratulations. Enjoy it. Enjoy the holiday weekend. Enjoy the time off. And we'll see you again in Talladega, and hopefully get to talk to you in the same way.
We'll let this one marinate for a couple weeks for sure.
A fantastic job. Dustin Hall, victorious here in Kansas for the 3rd time. The drought is over for Dustin Hall. A very popular race win. Congratulations. We'll see you in Talladega.
Let's go.
That was Dustin Hall, your race winner here tonight. For YouTube, that concludes our coverage here tonight. We are glad you spent your time with us. For Patreon, we got a little bit of victory lane left to go. So stay with us as we end things on YouTube. Patreon only victory lane coming up here. 3 interviews coming up. We'll talk to Byron Jones, Mirabella Viscali, and Olivia Pereira. Coming up next here on